Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly tech update, the show that explores the newest, coolest, and craziest side of tech available on the interwebs. I'm your VR geek, Ray McNeil. Coming up on the program today, it's our PlayStation VR special, Round 3. We have full reviews of 3 amazing games for you today, including the platformer storybook adventure Moss. Wipeout a Mega Collection, which is essentially Mario Kart at 400 miles an hour, and you can pretend to be Spider-Man in the insanely fun Windlands. Also happening in this week's What The? New VR fails set to Benny Hill music. All that coming up next, right here on your weekly Tech Update. Hi everyone, Moss is a game I've been waiting for since I got the PlayStation VR. It was on the PlayStation VR demo disc, and it's a completely different way of playing a platformer. You play a disembodied head with a glowing orb that you can use to interact with the environment. You're known as a reader. You also control Quill, your daring mouse adventurer, by using standard platform controls. Now, using your DualShock 4 controller, you direct Quill to jump obstacles, shimmy over bottomless pits, and navigate through the fantasy world set in both a platformer and puzzle game. The puzzles are akin to Tomb Raider or Prince of Persia and require you to not only be a good gamer and explore, but sometimes requires you to get up out of your seat and look around this VR environment. You start out in a library setting that looks very close to the meeting hall in Hogwarts, sitting in front of the book Moss. As you start flipping the pages with help of your controller, you get sucked into the book and the first level of the game, your introduction to Quill.
Was broken by an unconquerable nightmare. And that night, the animals nearly met their end. First, they killed the king. A winged creature broke from the shadows and plucked him from his royal bedchamber high atop the tallest tower. Next, the serpent Sarfog and the armies of the Arcane tore up from the underworld. They ravaged the castle in search of that which gave the king power beyond understanding, one of the fabled glass relics.
As you sit and look around at this amazing setting, you hear some rustling in the bushes, and all of a sudden your heroine emerges from the shrubbery. Quill can see you and even respond to your actions during gameplay, even giving you hints if you're stuck gesturing in the direction of your next objective. As you start moving from one scene to the next in the same way you would turn the page in a book, you start to grasp how the game is played. Like a traditional platformer, you have to direct Quill through a series of puzzle levels with some enemies thrown in that you have to either overcome or use to your advantage to navigate through the level. The first time this happens is after what I would call the tutorial stage of the game. Quill rushes home to show her uncle what she found in the forest while exploring, after which you meet the third main character of the book, a starling.
Uncle Argus was watching the evening light dim when Quill burst through the front door of their cottage. Uncle, there's something you have to see. Out past the bell again, he scolded. Quill, I've told you countless times. I know, Quill replied, crestfallen. I didn't mean to worry you, but I found something strange and magical. Quill's hands trembled as she showed him the glass. What is it? She asked. A look of panic spilled over her uncle's stoic exterior. Where did you find this? roared Uncle Argus. Quill had never seen her uncle so shaken. Just west of the clearing, she explained. And as soon as I picked it up, something started helping me. Uncle Argus followed her motion.
A reader? With you, here, right now? Quill, what you found is very powerful and very dangerous,
He said with great concern.
If I could take this burden from you, I would. But this reader has chosen. Even with the moon full and bright, I must go right away.
Quill pressed. Where are you going? I can help. We can help.
No,
He snapped.
they'll find you and tear you apart. I have to go alone. It is for your own safety and for everyone here in the clearing.
His long, heartfelt hug told her he was heading for danger.
I'll be back before midnight. Until I return, I need your word you will not leave the clearing with that glass. Promise me, Quill.
I promise, she said reluctantly, wondering where her uncle was going so deep into the night.
Hey, kid! Kid! Wake up!
Hey, kid, over here. I know where your uncle went. I can show you. You're twofold now. Very important. Bring that glass and your sidekick, too. We're going to need them. Quill called out. Hey! Starling, wait!
The narration is expertly done, completely drawing you into the story like a book from Audible, and the talent plays all the voices well. The mix of using standard platformer controls along with the added difficulty of using the controller itself to move objects in the environment, like blocks, doors, and even enemies, brings a new level of fun to familiar gameplay. Later on in the game, it takes some decent coordination to control Quill while also directing an enemy to go to a switch or fire in a certain direction. Now, it does appear that if all goes well, this could be just the first story of many in this new literary game world. I don't want to spoil anything because the story is truly great, so I'll just say that there is an opening for a sequel at the end. This could be considered a AAA title if it wasn't for the playtime. Only 3 hours. I'm absolutely addicted to VR and have a hard time playing anything but. Unfortunately, the playtime of VR games is something that needs to be improved. Farpoint was a great game with an amazing storyline, and it clocks in at 4 to 5 hours. One of the longest VR-exclusive story-driven games available. Compare that to standard story-driven games on a 2D surface that average 15 to 30 hours of gameplay, and then games like Warcraft that can clock in at 1, 2, or even 300 hours. Games like Moss are a tease, a taste of what could be possible. Sure, they are remaking games in VR like Skyrim, Fallout, and Wipeout that take some serious gameplay hours to complete, and they even gave us Resident Evil 7 that can be played in VR or in 2D and takes 10 to 15 hours to complete, not including all the expansions. But VR needs exclusives that take 15 hours or more to complete, at least. My hope is that they will surprise us with Half-Life 3 in VR, with a story like the other two that stretches up to 20 hours or more. Hey, I can dream, right? Until then, I highly suggest that you play Moss and enjoy it as much as you can, because there is a lot to enjoy, while it lasts anyway. For its gameplay, art style, control scheme, and great narration, Moss gets 4 out of 5 stars here on your weekly tech update.